The way that websites have to be now is you have to take into consideration where your audience is accessing you from. With the regular wired web, the old traditional, oh my God, it's only been around for 20 years and we're calling it traditional. The wired web, you can be pretty sure that somebody's sitting at a desk with a computer. That's how we're getting it. Now with the wireless web, with the mobile web, the person can be walking down the streets. Hopefully they're not driving a car. But people are usually looking for information. They need it now. They need it right away. They need to have the information on a web page arranged in such a way so that it's easy to see, easy to access. The choices are stripped down. They're clear. You just have to have a much cleaner interface and a much cleaner look and feel.
Well, in addition to David's comment about people are on the move and they want things quickly, you also really have to make them smaller. And it seems obvious, but there are kind of two pieces to that. One of them is reducing the amount of content on your website. A lot of people think they need to make everything on their website mobile friendly. And a lot of the best mobile websites are really a reduced version of the bigger site with a link to that bigger site if somebody wants all that and their phone can support it. So sometimes it's the content decisions that are most challenging. And then you have to make it small to fit on the device, but you also have to make those links big enough that that fat finger can touch them. So those are the kinds of things we look at in the book. How do you make it small enough to fit, but big enough for people to actually use it?
The three things that people use the mobile web for is, number one, they use it to save time or money. For example, if you're on the way to the restaurant and you don't know where it is, you need to pick up the map and you can find a Google map for it. To save money, more and more we're seeing people use mobile coupons, just scanning your phone, the little barcode over the barcode readers. Next would be to communicate. Well, you know, these things are, after all, communications devices. So besides making voice calls, we can do things like take a picture and then pick it and say, this is the greatest sandwich I have ever had in my life. I have to share this with all my friends on Facebook. Oh, I'm so happy.
Some of us try to share more relevant information.
Well, that's true. The last thing that people do is kill time. I think we've all had the experience of waiting in line or going someplace for an appointment, the other person is late, and you're sitting around, you got nothing to do. Well, now that we've got these wonderful mobile web-enabled devices, we can not just sit around and twiddle our thumbs, we can actually browse the web, we can watch funny videos, we can listen to music, we can do work, we can connect with our friends, we can do so much more now so that we never could before with these things.
A lot of people realize you want to give people information in a hurry, you want to give people information that helps them connect, but that whole part about people wanting to kill time on it means that throwing a little bonus information, a little extra information that somebody might discover when they have some downtime is not something you want to forget when you're designing that mobile version.
Yeah, what Steve Jobs called the childlike sense of wonder.
One of the biggest mistakes we see people make is just not to even think about the mobile web when they get started. And it's striking to me how many websites still don't have a mobile strategy. Even some of the big corporations.
More than 50%, yes.
Yeah, the numbers are still pretty high today. Now that's changing fast, and this year I think is a real turning point in mobile web design. So if you haven't done this already, this is definitely the time to be doing it now. But the other big mistake a lot of people make is that they're so focused on technology, they don't think about the content and what is the message. So there's some obvious things when you think about it that you should be putting on your mobile site. If I'm looking for you on my mobile phone, there's a good chance I want to call you. So getting your phone number up there right up front may seem obvious when you think about it, but most websites, the phone number is either at the very bottom corner of the page or it's buried 3 clicks in. On the mobile version, you want that phone number top and center where I can use it right away. You want maps and location and directions to be really easy to find. So again, thinking about how people are using your site on the mobile phone, not just repurposing your whole site. So fortunately, if you're building a mobile website, you start with the foundation that you should already have if you've got some web design background. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel completely. We're still talking about HTML, we're still talking about CSS. These are the best practices of any website today. Now, when you get into mobile, you can start using these more advanced technologies, the HTML5, if you're designing for the high end, but at the low end, you're actually using some of the more simple HTML tags. So you really don't have to learn a whole lot of new technology if you just want to create a basic mobile website. Probably one of the biggest challenges for people who've been doing web design for a while is that a lot of people love Adobe Flash, and they've put Flash on their sites or they've designed their sites with Flash, and unfortunately, none of the iOS devices, none of the iPads or iPhones created by Apple support that technology. So one of the big things we've had to change as web designers is to leave behind the traditional use of Flash and to think more about using jQuery mobile and interactive technologies that do work on these devices. I think it's easy in the US to kind of think about mobile phones as a luxury and a high-end option, but one of the most striking things is the number of people who will access the internet for the first time on a mobile device and maybe never use anything besides a mobile device. So the mobile technology trend is not just changing the way those of us who are already using the internet use it more and in more places. It's bringing this whole new audience to the internet, and it's one of the reasons it's so important to mobilize or mobify your website.
Hi, I'm Dave LaFontaine.
And I'm Janine Warner.
We're the co-authors of Mobile Web Design for Dummies
And iPhone and iPad Web Design for Dummies.